Today's episode is going to be especially helpful if you're like a life coach or somebody who really can help anyone and you want to help them achieve mostly anything. By that, I mean, you say things like, oh, I just want to help you live a better life. But a lot of my clients want a lot of different things. And it's difficult for you to get really specific in your work. This is going to help you because when you speak to everybody, you speak to nobody. And I want you to have an opinion. I want you to take a stance on something, which I know is in its own right is very confronting. We end up doing that because we're people pleasers. We don't want to upset everybody. We want to talk to everybody. But at the end of the day, what is holding most of us back is that we're not being specific enough. We're not talking directly to the people we truly want to talk to. And when you think about, you've probably heard of talking to a past version of yourself. When we think about that idea, if we were to really think about talking to ourselves at a coffee shop, the version of us from 10 years ago, we sit down at the coffee shop, and when you have conversations with them, there will be very specific conversations. They'll be like, Matt, I'm a civil engineer. I did what I wanted to, I did what my parents said to do, and I got this good degree, and I'm just not happy, and I'm worried that I'm going to spend the next 40 years doing something I don't love, and then I retire, and then what? And I'm really worried that I'm never going to actually do meaningful work that I truly want to do. And then I'd be like, well, what do you really love? And he'd be like, well, I've always wanted to be a personal trainer, but like I haven't really been able to own that truth. If I'm sitting at the coffee shop talking about that, you see how much more that I would resonate with that part of me than being like, I don't know, I just want to do something that's meaningful. It's like, Matt, I know you want to be a personal trainer. You want to be a personal trainer for years. Like, why don't we go get a certification and start coaching people? He'd be like, yeah, dude, he'd be like lit up. He would feel so seen. You think there's only one Matt in the world that wants to be, there's only one person who wants to be a personal trainer. You also don't think just by hearing that story that you'd be more connected to it. Everything I just said there, right? So getting specific with your story is really valuable, and it's really important for you in your storytelling and your marketing that you get more specific. And if you struggle finding out what that is, again, if you're like a life coach and you're like, well, I can help anybody, and then so the stories you tell are very broad and general, that's why they're not resonating. So what I want to do is I want to tell you a few stories today, and how the specificity and choosing the specificity of what you want to talk more about is probably right under your nose, and it's probably the thing you're already really good at. And so I want to help you identify that today. I also want, that's going to be the whole process of the thing. So when I was in high school, I was really good at math. Actually, I was good at math my whole life, and that was really nurtured. I'd get A's in all my math classes. It came easy. But what didn't come easy was English, and I did not like English classes. I always avoided reading the books, and writing just felt like it took so much time, and it was so subjective compared to math. Like math, you were like right or wrong. English was like, I don't know. And I didn't like that. I actually love that now, as you could probably imagine. At the time, I didn't like that. So I didn't really like English classes. And in high school, there were actually two English classes that I got A's in, and they were both creative writing. And in one of these classes, it was a creative writing class, and it was around this time, whenever that would be, 2006, 2007, around March. And so it's March Madness time. And the project for us was that we were going to write a creative story, 5, 6, 7 pages, and it was going to be anonymously submitted to the class. And we were going to do a bracket style challenge where you would submit your story, everybody would read it, and then they would vote on the best stories. And then those would move along the brackets until you have two final stories up against each other. And how far you got in your story was going to dictate the grade you got. And so my story got to the end. And unfortunately, everybody found out whose story was whose. And I was up against one of the popular hot guys. And all the girls knew that it was his, so all the girls voted for him, and maybe even some of the guys too, because life truly sometimes is politics, isn't it? And so I didn't win, I didn't beat him, and that's okay. But my teacher came up to me afterwards, and he's like, Matt, he's like, don't tell anyone, but like your story was the best. Your story is incredible. You're gonna get an A. Don't worry. I really loved your story, and I was like, sick. And I really enjoyed writing that. I like really enjoyed writing that creative story. It was such a fun class for me out of all English classes I've ever taken before. Even math, like I don't even know if I enjoyed that, I was just good at it. But writing that story I really loved. And okay, so we fast forward to 2016 when I rode my bike across America. If you want to hear that story, I probably told it somewhere else. But I rode my bike across America in 2016 when I'm a civil engineer in New York City. I take the summer off. And even though I was riding my bike in 90-degree heat, 90% humidity, sweating my butt off, and I was riding about 65 miles a day, so long days on the bike. And even after all that, I wrote a blog after every single day of my bike trip. And even though I was hot and tired and sweaty and all that stuff, and I just wanted to go to bed, I would write that blog. And when I read that blog, when I go back and read the blog, not everything is perfect, but there are some beautiful paragraphs written in there. And these are beautiful stories. And then fast forward 3 years after that, when I finally get the courage, or 2 years after that, well, I guess it was 3 years, whatever, 2.5 years after that, when I finally get the courage to quit engineering and move to Colorado to be a personal trainer and pursue my dreams, I started my content creation journey. Being a personal trainer was the start of my content creation journey. And this was before Reels, or maybe at the start of Reels, but yeah, even before Reels started coming out. And you were just posting photos and a caption, and that's what Instagram was. And when I look back at those photos and those captions, you read those captions, they're all beautiful stories. And from 2019 all the way through 2024, a lot of my content was stories. And I became this marketing coach. Before I was really the storytelling coach. I was kind of like a business mentor too. And so marketing was part of that. And then a part of marketing was storytelling. And in 2024, I remember trying to get more clear on what it is I want to do with my life and trying to be a little more specific in my work. And all of a sudden, September 2024, I was getting all these reflections that storytelling was my thing. And they were happening in all these little coincidental ways. And I was noticing that, and people were reflecting that back to me. And I love the stories you tell. And then I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then I was in a group therapy class, and the therapist was like, Matt, I love what you're doing with stories. He's like, you're talking about stories the way nobody else is. And I think there's a gap missing in the market. And I was like, whoa, okay, thank you. And then I started to do this reflection. I started to look back, and I was like, every time I do a masterclass, a webinar, or training, and I do trainings about all sorts of things. But when I do a masterclass around storytelling, triple the amount of people would sign up, quadruple the amount of people would sign up. And then so I went on Instagram and I was like, hey guys, I think I want to talk more about storytelling. I really love storytelling. I kind of want to be the storytelling guy. And I'm just making that bold thing and kind of seeing how that would feel in my body. And then people reflected it back and were like, dude, yeah, I see you as a storyteller. Of course you're a storyteller. That's who you are. And I'm like, whoa, that is crazy. I didn't realize everyone saw me as such a storyteller. And then this is where this moment where everything I just told you, I started looking back at my life and I was like, well, I guess I have been a storyteller. It is true that a lot of my content have been stories. And whoa, the blog that I wrote when I rode my bike across America, are all really beautiful stories. And oh my God, I remember those 2 classes I took in high school. Even though I hated English, I got A's in the creative writing classes. And so I was like, whoa, I think I always have been a storyteller. And so what I love about storytelling is that I can wait so long to figure out what my thing is. What is my thing? What is my niche? How do I stand out in the world? And if you just spend time looking at your stories and uncovering moments of your life, because that storytelling bracket challenge that I had, that's a memory. That's a core memory that I have from high school. And if we spend time on unearthing these stories from our life, they hold the breadcrumbs of the truth of what we're already really good at and what we desire. And so that is true for you too, and it's true for so many of my clients, that what I've noticed in helping people be more authentic and show up fully themselves, and what really helps them tell truly authentic stories is that, first of all, we need to just speak the truth. If you're struggling telling the story, you're probably not speaking the truth. I talk about this a lot. We're trying to appease the audience. We're trying to think, what do they like? And that's really what gets in the way of uncovering your truth and telling a story that feels authentic. And when a story just doesn't feel right, it's because you're not going within. You're not going towards your soul and telling the absolute truth. And so what I want to offer you is that the easy thing, your more specific, I don't even really like the term niche. I think you're the niche and you get to talk about like whatever you want really. But really, it's more of like the vehicle of how you help people. So like, I want people to have more fun changing the world. My niche can be coaches. Sure, that is a niche. But my vehicle is storytelling. The way that I help people live a more fun life and change the world is through storytelling. And basically what I'm doing now is like look at your stories to understand what you want, what is your truth, and then you tell those stories with the world, which obviously can help your content and your marketing and get the message out and grow your business and all that stuff. So storytelling is really a vehicle. And so that can ultimately be your niche. You get known for a certain thing, just like James Clear is known for habits. Brene Brown is known for helping people be more vulnerable. It's really the vehicle rather than being like, I work with coaches who make $100,000, blah, like, I don't really care about that. You are the niche. I can talk about tennis. I can talk about my journal practice. I can talk about playing guitar. I can talk about all sorts of things. It'll be through the lens of pursuing a more fun life, getting better at the stuff that I love to change the world, and I will tell stories when I do it. And so that's what I really think about niching down. What I want you to really understand is like, what is your thing? What is your zone of genius, your core expertise? And oftentimes it is the thing that's right under your nose. Like I didn't realize storytelling was my thing, but it was so obviously my thing. And it was right under my nose. It was the thing I was doing naturally. It was the thing that came so easy for me that I put it off as like, nah, that's not it. Right? And I was doing all these other things. And oftentimes because the thing is so easy for us, we brush it off as like, no, that can't be the thing. Because like, no, it has to be hard. No, I like need to figure it out. I need to uncover it. It's this thing that I worked really hard at and put all my effort into. That's what I get to teach other people. But I found that that's not even really the case. You know, I have clients who, like one client I think specifically, she's a relationship coach. She helps you build deeper relationships with your partner. And she was trying to do all these other things of like teaching people microdosing. And that was like a really challenging journey for her. She's like, well, really, building deeper relationships with my partner has always been the thing that's like actually come easy, and having difficult conversations and supporting each other, blah, blah, blah. Like that's the thing I really love, and it's really easy. And it's like, okay, that's your thing. And so when people ask me about like, Matt, give me your, I've read storytelling books now, but like 2-3 years ago when I was like owning, like I'm the storytelling guy, people are like, well, what are your favorite storytelling books? I'm like, well, I haven't read any. I'm just a great storyteller. Okay. And then the fun part gets to become, why am I such a great storyteller? Why is this such a natural thing for me? And then the fun part of life is that now I do get to read the books. Now I do, it's oftentimes I don't even like reading the storytelling books because I'm like, I don't know, sometimes they put words to the things that I didn't understand, which is helpful. But what I like to do is just go like, I just like to journal and go, what is it about this thing that has come so easy for me? Why am I so good at being vulnerable? Why am I so, why do I take such bold action? Like ride my bike across America, quit engineering, move to Colorado to be a personal trainer. Like I take a lot of bold action, run a 40-mile ultra marathon, start podcasts, make consistent content, just try these things. Why is that easy for me? And it's difficult for other people. And that's the bold action. That's what makes life fun. And all of that stuff, it's like I get to uncover that stuff. And then in the uncovering of it, I get to teach it. And I think that's such a fun exploration. That's what makes life truly fun. And then I just get to show up and I just get to do my thing. I just get to like tell great stories. How fun is that? I get to lean into the thing that comes easy for me. So number one, when you uncover this, like, is there something that's right under your nose? And I know that's really hard to uncover because it's hard to see the label from inside the bottle. And this is why I help people do this so that I can reflect it back for them. But a good question to uncover this is that what is something that does come so easy for you and that frustrates you when other people aren't good at it? Like people are like, oh, just like help me. And you're like, it's not that hard, dude. Just like go do it. Oftentimes that's the thing. So if you find yourself wanting to help people, but you're like frustrated, you're like, I just don't get why they aren't good at this. You can start to unpack that. So that's the first thing. The second thing is sometimes it's what you were good at as a kid, but it wasn't nurtured. For example, like my artistic creative ability to tell stories and to be a writer, that wasn't really nurtured. Math was nurtured. And it makes sense. I get it. I get why math was nurtured and the potential for, career opportunities and all of that stuff. And that's why it wasn't nurtured. And then you kind of lose it. And so when you look back at your childhood, it's like, oh, the thing that I love that came easy, that I was really interested in, but I didn't really get nurtured, or maybe it was my parents, maybe it was society, maybe it was myself and blaming and shaming myself for that thing being lame. If you think about that, you might already be leaning back into that thing, which is really cool. You get to rediscover it. And then we go, well, that couldn't be my thing because like I rejected it for so long. It's like, no, no, no. You get to love it again and it's going to come easy for you. Getting back into it is going to be actually easy for you. And then in the process of getting back into it, and there will be some challenges, like it won't just be like 100% easy, but it will be a little more effortless. It'll be fun and exciting. In that process is where you get to remember or relate to your audience of being like, oh, I see like getting back into this thing is a little difficult. Oh, I see there's a little bit of judgment. Getting back into it and healing those old wounds, the thing that made you like kind of pull away from it. Those are all the stories you get to offer your audience. So if there's something you did as a kid and maybe it's come back a little bit, like you used to dance as a kid and then you stopped doing it, but now you're dancing again, like the importance of dance in your life, lean into that, do it, and then share the story of the journey back into dancing. Um, and then that might be your thing. And the last and the third thing, a way to uncover this is what people reflect in you. What do people come to you for? And oftentimes it's not a direct reflection. Like when I was launching all these webinars about all sorts of things like sales and like creating your offer, and then I'm like storytelling, and everyone's signing up for the storytelling webinars. They're not directly telling you, but it's like, oh, to look at that information, look at that data. And what you want to know is like, first of all, it should resonate with you. I wouldn't want you to do something where everyone's signing up for it, but you like hate that thing. Like, don't do that. It should be exciting for you. And then if you're getting the feedback and the resonance from everybody else, then, oh, maybe that's the thing, right? So noticing those patterns, or what do people come to you for? Everyone's like coming to me for, Matt, like, how do I tell, I like trying to figure out how to tell a better story. They come to me for like content ideas, and stuff like that. So, it's noticing what people already come to you for. Is it relationship advice? Is it they have questions about like their nutrition? Are they doing it right? Noticing what people just naturally come to you for. That is probably the thing that's so easy for you. And again, it's so easy that you undermine it. You go like, no, it can't be this easy. I have to suffer and work so hard to figure this out. It's like, no, you just get to embody the easy thing. And that's like what I love about storytelling and content is like, as you embody the easy thing, it won't be that easy. You will face challenges. In the midst of those challenges, you're going to show up and do it anyway, right? Like it's not like tennis isn't always easy. Practicing my serve isn't always easy. It's challenging. I play opponents that are better than me. It's hard, but it's in overcoming those challenges. Like I'm gonna show up anyway. I'm not gonna not play tennis just because, oh no, I'm playing a guy that might be better than me. Like I'm excited about that, right? And then so it's in the practicing and showing up and playing against people that are better than me. That I get to work through these challenges. And so you don't have to force yourself to like do hard things as much. You just get to do the thing you love. And yeah, there are challenges. As you embody the work and show up for those challenges, those are the stories you tell. And then so the final beautiful part about this is that by telling your stories over and over, and I'm talking about stories from the past, like every story is a story from the past, but like how I can tell that storytelling bracket. The creative writing bracket challenge I did in high school. I made a reel about that. I'll link it below so you can watch it if you want. I made a reel about that like 2-ish years ago. It's in making that reel and telling that story and putting it out in the world that it now like more deeply seeps into my my conscious and subconscious, and that like, oh, I am a great storyteller. See, it's true. And when I tell it to the world and put it out and like ship the work and tell the story, and I get people reflecting back. I do get comments and stuff like that. But also just by putting it out, you are more deeply embodying the truth of who you are. It's like, again, it's like if I give the tennis example, it's one thing to say, oh, I'm a great tennis player and think I believe that. It's another thing to go out and play tennis matches and play against people who are better than me. And it's in that pursuit of playing people who are better than me that I will lose and I'll be frustrated and I'll come up against challenges and then I'll win and I'll have these amazing wins to share. And it's through those challenges and frustrations that like I get to overcome them and then keep showing up to tennis and keep getting better. It's not hard for me to want to go play tennis again, even though I lost, even though I come up against challenges, right? It's the quote unquote easy thing for me. Not that tennis is easy, but it's easy to show up. So you don't have to be suffering through all these other things that you think you like need to do, but rather you just get to show up. And in the process of the thing that comes easy for you, those are the stories you get to tell with people. And so to bring this all home from the beginning, if you're like a life coach, or maybe you don't even know what you want to get known for, I can help everybody. The fact is that you actually want something specific with your life. You want to get better at guitar, play better tennis. You want to run a marathon, do your first triathlon. Share those stories, because instead of being general and like, oh, I can help everybody with everything, do it for yourself first. When you share those stories, like I said, you more deeply embody that identity. And you can share multiple things if you're not really sure what it is. You can pursue whatever you want, and in the pursuit of that, you're just embodying the work. So it doesn't matter if I talk about pursuing tennis or pursuing playing guitar. I'm going to embody the work that I teach people. And the cool part is that as I pursue tennis, guitar, I will notice what resonates with me. As I tell more stories, I more deeply embody the identity of a guitar player. And so I will naturally want to be playing more guitar, and I will get better at guitar because I'm playing more of it. Ooh, I want to start writing songs, or I'll start playing more tennis. Ooh, I want to start beating these higher level players. I need to practice my serve. So I'm going to go do those things. It's the act of telling that story and telling it publicly with the world that you more deeply embody it, so that you, just for yourself, get to go do more of the thing. You'll just want to be doing that because you want to be living in integrity and because it's just fun. And so as you pursue that thing and talk about the challenges of it, people will start noticing, people will start resonating with something more. And in your pursuit of that thing, it's going to be people who are saying like let's say it's triathlons for you. It's like, I'm a life coach and I'm going to pursue triathlons. And I like to work on language and, mindset and the inner work. So I'm just going to go pursue this triathlon. And yeah, it's exciting for you. It's fun. You love showing up for it. And it's also difficult. And there's going to be challenging days and days when you don't want to show up. That's when you get to embody the work. And you get to do your language tricks or whatever. You get to do your mindset work. And then you actually show up and practice or train even when you don't want to. Those are the stories you tell. That's your empowered move. And by telling those stories as the lens of the life coach who's pursuing the triathlon, you will start to attract other people who are serious about their fitness, who want a bigger fitness journey, or maybe other triathletes. And isn't that awesome? Because then you just get to talk about the thing you're interested in more often with your clients. And so it's not really about niching down and saying, oh, I work with triathletes. I'm a life coach for triathletes. No, it's like you can work with anyone still. People will still find you. But it just so happens that you get to work with people who are also pursuing similar goals. You're just a few steps ahead of them. You have all these amazing tools that allow you to actually do the triathlon and get a good time and train better and more consistently. And you get to help the people who are behind you, who struggle training consistently, who are maybe newer to the world of triathlons. And isn't that fun? So it's a twofer. So by telling the stories out in the world, you will more deeply embody the identity, which means you will do it better. You will show up more often. And then the tail end of that is that you will attract more of your people. You will attract other people who are interested in similar things. And that's when life gets to be really fun. And deep down, I think you know this. Deep down, you need to be like, you're being too general and it's not really working. It's not really working for your stories. People aren't resonating. It's not really working for yourself at all. It all feels sticky. If you just allow yourself to own what you love, go unapologetic and pursue it, live that fun life, and then tell those stories, then you will start to notice, again, what you truly want to get known for and what you love. And it will just make life more fun. And people will start to reflect back like, wow, I'm loving listening to your triathlon journey. I want to listen to triathlon journey. And then you get to notice, whoa, I'm loving these conversations. Again, so it's just like double dosing of fun. And so hopefully that was helpful for you in your journey. And I want to wrap it up by saying, like, I think I already said I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to wrap it up one more time, which is like, we have all these stories of the past, and the stories hold the truth of what you get to start to lean into moving forward. So if you're unsure of like what it is you truly want, well, just look back at your stories. Again, just to drive this point home, I told that bracket story on social media. I posted it on social media. And when I posted it, well, first of all, I loved it. it reaffirms to me that I am a storyteller. Oh my God. Yeah, that's right. I've always been good at this thing in my whole life. And so you get to see that more clearly. And then again, by telling the story online, I am owning that I am a great storyteller. And then because I'm telling those stories, people start to see me as a storyteller. And because people see me as a storyteller, it just reaffirms even more that I am a great storyteller and I'm the storytelling guy. And because of all of this, I pursue more stories. I tell more stories. People see me as a storytelling guy. You see this loop that we're in of just like accelerating life. And so looking back at your life and seeing what is true for you, what are these moments that you've loved? That storytelling that bracket challenge in high school is a core memory of mine. And I just saw it one day and I was like, oh yeah, all right, let's tell that story. Oh my God, I see how I am the storyteller, right? So hopefully you see what's happening here. So uncover the stories from your life. Tell these core memory stories, because in the core memory stories are exactly what you can get known for, are exactly what you're really good at, is exactly what people will come to you for and you can get known for, is the easy thing in your life. And the more you tell those stories, the more you'll start doing it in the future. And then life is fun, and then people start to know you for those things. Okay, I've said that so many times, but I just want to make sure it's super clear. Thanks so much for being here. I hope this helps you in your journey. And I have one final ask, which is if you're on Spotify, scroll up, tap 5 stars right now. It's amazing. It makes me feel so good. We love to get feedback. I always tell my clients, if you want people to rate your podcast, leave you feedback, give you 5 stars, they're like, are you doing that for anyone else? You want people to engage with your content? Are you engaging with anyone else's content? Everybody wants to be a villager. Nobody wants to be, or everybody wants a village. Nobody wants to be a villager, that kind of saying. So just take a few moments. And if you're on Apple, click the 5 stars. I would love a written review that's like, it's helpful for the podcast, sure. But honestly, it just makes me feel good. And if this has helped you, and this makes you feel good and more excited about telling your stories, I would love it back. I would love to see some reviews come through and start feeling good about that. And yeah, that's all. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.